Welcome to the Andy Ruther Show. Here is your host, Andy Ruther.
Welcome to the Andy Ruther Show. That is me, Andy Ruther, coming to you on this lovely, windy February 20th. Here we are. It's Friday. Feeling good. It's Friday. The weekend is here, which means fun times with the kids. Crying, whining kids. All they ever do is cry and whine. I don't know why I'm singing. I asked Isla yesterday. Molly just whines nonstop. It's pretty unbearable, to be honest. But I asked Isla yesterday because Molly was whining in the car. She's always whining to and from daycare. I don't know why. I don't know what her deal is. But anyway, she was whining, and I said to Isla, I said, who do you think whines more, you or Molly? She quickly was like, Molly. And I was like, you whine a lot too. You got those 3-year-old toddler whines. At this point, I don't know which is more annoying, to be honest. The baby, hold me, daddy. Or the 3-year-old, no, daddy. I don't want to put on my clothes. No. Like, you both whine. You both whine too much. But I love you. I love you guys so much, even though you're whiny little babies. I'll still always love you. You are my children. Speaking of that, Isla turned 3. I can't believe it. I'll tell you what. It goes by quickly, guys. I know it's been said a million times, and the saying you hear all the time when you start having kids, the days are long and the years are short. There's a reason that saying exists, because it is true. I can't believe Isla's 3. Like that, Molly turning 1 was no big deal. Like, okay, she's been around a year. Isla being around for 3 years is wild to me. Like, I remember when she was just a tiny little thing in the NICU, when she was hooked up to all that stuff. And then she got home and she was still just a tiny little thing. And then you see the steps and the progression. It was a good birthday. We didn't really do much. It was, what was it? Was it cold and rainy here? I don't remember, but yeah, it was not the best day here. It was Sunday. Truth is, we didn't have many plans. The only thing we had planned was Brittany's parents were going to come over for cake and ice cream. Brittany has learned, to her credit, she's learned you don't got to give these kids much. You really don't. They're happy with little things. So we didn't go crazy, and I'm glad. I got her some of the little critter books, which she's into. And I got her Candyland. We had an old Candyland game that my mom had at my parents' house that we used. I don't know how old it was. The grandkids used, but I got her a new one. Got her some little critter books. Brittany got her a little. She loves putting makeup on Brittany. It's pretty funny. She makes Brittany look like a clown. She got her this little makeup kit. It's hilarious. I'll film it one time. I'll let Isla do my makeup or something. She'll think that's funny. But she got her this little makeup kit, and of course Isla was geeked about that. But you know what she was most excited about? She was most excited. Again, it goes to show kids don't need much. She was most excited about the balloons, the happy birthday balloons, and Brittany put up streamers above her bedroom door that she could walk through. And so for the next few days, all she wanted to do was run through the streamers. Like, she gets geeked. The hallway upstairs, just go back to the edge of the steps, run through her room, and repeat. And then she was like, Molly, come do it. Come do it, Malls. Mommy, come do it. Run through the streamers. Daddy, come do it. And then Brittany's parents were over. Gigi, Pop, come do it. Like, that's all she needed. I said to Brittany, look at her. That's all she needed. That's all she needed was just streamers to run through. And she was the happiest, smiling, laughing. Molly was loving it. It was really cute, to be honest. It was nice. She didn't need much. And she was geeked to have us sing happy birthday to her. Brittany's parents came over. We sung happy birthday to her. She got cake and ice cream. She was happy. It was nice. It was joyous. It was a good day. She was in a good mood. And who doesn't love to run through streamers, for the record? Like, who doesn't? It's no different than running out to the field in the Super Bowl. Like, what's the difference, realistically? It's the same kind of fanfare. Now, granted, you're not playing in front of 150 million people in a packed stadium that the world's watching. But on a 3-year-old level, it's like running onto the field at the Super Bowl. That's how it feels for her. It's the fanfare. It's the hype. It's the streamers. That's all she needs. I took her to, she had off the next day because of President's Day. So I met my sister-in-law and her son, who was meeting one of the parents and one of my nephew's friends at a jump park. What do you call it? Trampoline park, whatever it is. Altitude. They're across the country. There's one by us here in Anderson Township. So we met him at Altitude. And I was curious how that would play out because Isla's never been to a trampoline park. Obviously, she's been on trampolines before, but we went and that was pretty funny. She was a little scared at first, but then she was doing good. Dudes, boys are savages, that place. They got all these different trampolines and things you can do. And it's actually it's a great way to get the flu. It's a great way to get COVID. It's a great way to get hand, foot, mouth. It's a great way. Basically, any disease you want, if you want this disease, I highly recommend going to a trampoline park. Do you want Ebola? They got it. Do you want Hep B? I'm sure they got it. That was on my mind when we went, though. Isla didn't get sick because she just had the flu, right? So I wasn't as worried, but I was like, oh, this is going to be a cesspool. And it was because the kids were off school and they're all going psycho. And there was this little kid messing with Isla. He was messing with her. I don't know how old he was. 6 or 7. So they each have these little pockets of trampolines, right? And he kept going over and jumping by her, basically double jumping her, and she didn't like it, and she would yell out for me, or I'd walk over, and he just kept following her around, and I was like, yo, see, what do you do in that situation as a parent? He's not that old, but also he knew what he was doing. Kids are smarter than they let on. They are. Even at a young age. Like, I feel Molly knows, even at 13 months, she knows how to play me. She knows how to push buttons. She knows how to do that. Kids are a lot smarter than you really think. Anyway, he kept doing that with Isla. And at one point I went to her, I was like, yo, dude. But then I was like, is this kid autistic? Like, you don't know. Like, obviously I'm not going to be mean. I feel like every boy is autistic. I've said it to Brittany. I'm like, I feel like every boy nowadays is autistic. I don't know. What do you say to the kid? You're like, yo, stop. At the same token, it's like, yo, stop messing with my daughter. She's 3, man. She literally turned 3 yesterday. This is her first time at a jump park, at a trampoline park. Damn, I'm hungry. My stomach is growling. It's like, cut her some slack, bro. It was fun, though. It was good. It was a good day. It was basically, maybe that was like her birthday because it was a nice day and we got to go there. And I'm happy for you, Isla. I'm glad you're 3. Maybe you'll watch this someday. She just learned about the word podcasting. It was pretty funny. The other day she said to Brittany, Daddy has a podcast. No clue what it is. I've thought about doing a podcast with her, a toddler pod. I don't know what we would talk about. I don't know if she'd be good. I think she might freak out with the camera. She's weird about that. She can be great, and then sometimes she can just lock up. But yeah, she's learned about the podcasting world. Well, speaking of Isla, her and I mentioned this, and I think we talked briefly. I know we talked briefly about it on Dirty Sports. Her picture day has been paused. Her picture day has been paused because Lifetouch, Lifetouch, the biggest picture company, I believe, in the country for schools. The CEO, Leon Black, Oh, got caught up in the old Epstein stuff. The old Epstein stuff. Is there an area where the Epstein stuff does not touch? I mean, seriously, I don't know how much you guys have been following this. Like, I've been following it somewhat closely. You know how social media works. I started clicking on some things on Twitter. Now my algorithm is a lot of Jeffrey Epstein stuff. A lot. So I'm like looking into this stuff, and it's truly tough to look at because there's some really dark stuff here. It makes you question everything, truthfully. It really does. It truly makes you question everything. It's not good. There's some evil people. I've talked about this before. I do believe in good and evil. I do believe in it. You can call it a biblical sense, you can call it whatever, a religious angle. I do believe there are good people out there, and I do believe there are evil people out there. Jeffrey Epstein was an evil man. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But this stuff delves into like demonic. I mean, it's crazy. You're like, what is true? What is not true? Were they really eating babies? Were they really torturing children? It's really dark, and it's twisted, and it's sick. And then he had his hands in everything: countries, diplomats, politicians, celebrities, actors. I mean, you just name it. It's insane. So this news came out. Well, first of all, I get an email. I get an email about Picture Day, February 11th, from our daughter's daycare. Hello, our Lifetouch Picture Day for March 20th has been postponed. We are working through our contract with them and will reschedule as soon as our contract is up to date. Lifetouch said they don't share children's photos with anyone else aside from families and schools. We want to ensure that our contract with Lifetouch contains specific data privacy languages. Therefore, we are pausing our upcoming Picture Day with Lifetouch when the contract is updated. Once the contract has been updated to our satisfaction, we will reschedule Picture Day, and I'll let you know. And you know, Lifetouch released something claiming, well, let me just go back for a minute if you guys are kind of lost. So this is now across the country. This isn't just like our daycare. This is across the country. So Leon Black, I misspoke, is not the current CEO. He was the former CEO of an investment fund that bought Lifetouch's parent company. Right? So Leon Black was an associate of Jeffrey Epstein's and the former CEO of Apollo Global Management, an investment fund that bought Lifetouch's parent company, Shutterfly, in September of 2019. So now that all this stuff has come out about Leon Black, they're like, yo, wait. So a guy running a pedo ring, a global pedo ring, a global underage sex trafficking ring, has ties to the CEO whose company bought another company, which is the largest distributor / producer of children's photos across our country. Let all that sink in, which I just kind of put together here for you. Let that all sink in. That doesn't make it feel too good. That doesn't make me feel too good. It gives you some bad vibes, right? So Lifetouch has alleged the alleged ties to Epstein are completely false. Of course they did. The company said it is committed to students' privacy and added that the timeline of events does not support a direct connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Apollo acquired Shutterfly. Apollo's acquisition of Shutterfly came 2 months after Epstein was jailed on federal sex trafficking charges and a month after his suicide while awaiting trial. Are we still going to say that in the news? It's comical. It's truly comical. It really is. His suicide. You know what's amazing to me about all this? The mainstream media, the mainstream news still isn't jumping into this. Like the length of this, it's wild to me. It's not wild because it's the mainstream media just die. It is dying. It's dying a slow death, but just die already. Just die already. Truly die already. I get the real info. I get it all on X. I get it all on Twitter. That's the truth. You want the real news. You're not getting it in the mainstream news. And this isn't like a political talking point. This is just the truth. And this is perfect example. Perfect example. I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. That's a mainstream news. Not that much Jeffrey Epstein content. I mean, there's some. Not that much. It's kind of a big story. Because they're all connected. I mean, truly. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Epstein and Leon Black, they go back to 2001 when Epstein served as the director of Black's Family Foundation. So Jeffrey Epstein was the director of this guy's Family Foundation. His company ends up buying Lifetouch, which makes the pictures for the children. Yeah, that doesn't make me feel good. Doesn't make me feel good. Emails and texts in the trove of documents which have been released by the Justice Department show the two had meetings over the years and indicate that Black received financial advice from Epstein. Black's full name appears in the Epstein files more than 8,200 times, though some records may be duplicative. Through his attorneys, Black declined to comment on Lifetouch, citing health problems. Of course, he's got health issues. Of course. Of course he does. He can't comment. He's got health issues. Why could he comment? Why would he comment about a company he bought, which has access to millions of children's photos? Millions of children's photos. And he's connected to a guy who, again, ran a global sex trafficking ring. Why would he comment? Oh, I got a cold. I can't comment. I have health issues. His attorney said the public scrutiny, what does it say? Through his attorneys, Black declined to comment, citing health concerns that he said were exacerbated by the public. Oh, yeah. Guys like you, Andy Ruther, parents like you. Why are you so concerned about your daughter's photos being given to guys running a global sex trafficking ring? Why are you concerned? This is over concerned. It's being exaggerated. Black's lawyer, Susan Estrich, has previously denied wrongdoing on his behalf. Nonetheless, some families with school children feel uncomfortable. You think? Do you think? So I guess what's happening is a lot of people are, they're canceling Lifetouch. And Lifetouch has photographs of more than 25 million students each year at over 50,000 schools. The 90-year-old company, it's 90 years old. I mean, look, guys. I'm not saying that this guy did anything, this Leon Black guy, but you were connected to him. That's the thing. You knew what he did. You knew what he was convicted of. You stayed in touch with the guy. You emailed with him. That's the thing about all these guys accused. It's laughable. It's completely laughable. I don't know a single person that I'm connected with that would hang out with somebody who was convicted of the crimes Jeffrey Epstein did. Like, let's just call it what it is. Good for my daycare, by the way. Good for you guys. Now it's a franchise. It's a not global. It's a countrywide brand, my daycare, but good for them. Right? It's gonna throw up. And by the way, look, I understand there's been a huge debate about this, and a lot of people were like, well, you put your kids on social media. That's fair. Creepers and pedos could look at them. Yeah, but you also control that, right? There is a control on that, what they can and can't see. Just like I don't even remember. We've had Lifetouch for all our kids' photos. I don't even remember. Do they have access to my address? I don't like that. That's not easy to. It's not difficult to look up. I've stated this a million times. It's not difficult to find where somebody lives. But I don't want you having my address with also my child's photo. And good job, Lifetouch, because now I'm all paranoid, right? We have the Nanit app, which are the cameras in my kids' rooms. I mean, it's been a great app for us. It's been a great app for Brittany and I to be able to check on the kids. You can check on them when you're not even at the house, right? So if like Brittany's watching the kids or vice versa, I can check on them. I can run to the store. Are they being good or bad for her or whatever? But it makes you wonder, it's like, who's watching my kids? And obviously that was always a concern going in. This isn't new, but it's like, who's watching my kids? Because you see this stuff. And then as a parent, your number one job is to protect your kids. So then you get paranoid. And now I'm a little paranoid. I'm like, Brittany, is anybody ever talking to our kids? Like Isla will have like she has nightmares. I don't know if they're nightmares or what they are, a fair amount. I'm like, is somebody whispering creepy stuff to my daughter? I don't think that's a crazy thing for me to say. I don't think it's a crazy thing for me to ask. In light of all this stuff, which again, the mainstream news media is just like, it's not that big of a story. It's just a underage sex trafficking ring, and a guy had an island, and every celebrity and every politician and every big financial guy and billionaires. It's not that big of a story. Bro, it's the word I would put, it has like demoralized my view on just so many things. It truly has. And not that it was already that high morally, like not that my morale was that high on politics or politicians or billionaires or people in that, but like it is now just, for me, it's just like, that's what I do. I just like sigh and I go, this is not good. Like, it makes me more and more just want to focus on my family and care about what they're doing, but also be aware of things for my kids, man. It's just awful stuff. Because life is short at the end of the day. Life is short. And I want to be here for my kids as long as I can. I want to do the right thing for them. I want to just give them a better life, or the best life, I should say, before I'm gone. Right? Because you never know. You never, ever know. And life is too short. I can't preach that enough. It really is. My uncle passed, and not that he was young, but my uncle passed this week. He was 90 years old. So he lived a very, very long life. But every time there's death around you, it really makes you think, and it puts things in perspective. And if you're doing it right, I think you start reflecting on your own life. When you know somebody who dies or you know somebody who passes away, I think if you're doing it right, you then should internalize some good self-reflection. And the truth is, I've known a few people who've passed in the last week, and I hate when this happens because it always comes in waves. I don't know why, but I feel like that's how death works. It just comes in waves. And I had a buddy from high school whose dad just passed. We were texting and talking, and my uncle then passed a few days later, and then my neighbor's buddy just passed, and I'm like, it's so weird. And Brittany's mom's best friend just passed, and this all happened within like the last month. And again, this thing always comes in waves. But the point I'm trying to make on this is that you don't know when your time comes. You don't know when it's what's gonna happen, and you really truly got to make the most out of it. And you got to be happy. I don't even want to say happy, but you have to like do things you want to do and do things you enjoy. And I thought a lot about my uncle. He never had a family. He never settled down. He basically lived that bachelor life. He was a farmer. He had a girlfriend the last 20 years. You can call it a partner. He had a partner the last 20 years of his life. So he did have somebody at the end, the last 20 years. But you think about legacy and you think about what is your legacy? And I think about that a lot. And now that I have kids, like that's my legacy. And I'm not saying everybody has to have kids. I'm not saying that. But for me, it's very important that I have children because when I die, like that's my legacy. Or when I'm at the end, hopefully I have kids there, right, to comfort me. And I was talking to my brother, one of my brothers about it, and we were just talking about this. And my uncle wasn't deep. He was a farmer. My uncle Richard I'll say what, he loved us. He loved that my mom had 5 boys, and he called me Dennis the Menace, and he thought that was the funniest thing. And he'd write that on my birthday cards, Dennis the Menace, and because I was always getting into trouble as a kid and being mischievous. And you couldn't understand him unless you knew him. Like, he literally sounded like, the guy in the overalls in Waterboy? One of the coaches, like, there. Going over here and going over there. The quarterback going to get the ball, and you're going to go down. It's literally how my uncle talks. I'm not lying. The joke I always said was Uncle Richard seems like he's speaking Old English. So if like we went out to the farm, his farm, my mom grew up on a farm, right? If we went out to the farm where they grew up and I brought friends, like my friends literally could not understand him. And be like, who's your little friend and go bring over here? They're like, what? My friends would be like, what did he say? I'm like, let me just translate. It's like you could understand what Uncle Richard said, like Old English. But like, I have great memories of him. Great memories. My brothers, he had a farm by the farm my mom grew up on. He had a pond. We go out there fishing, and I don't know. It's hit home. It's hit hard a little this week of him passing because there were so many good memories of going out to his farm and just my mom. I think a lot about my mom and her family. My mom was youngest of 11, right? And they've all died now, but 3. I got 3 uncles left. And the truth is, I know it's life that you're gonna die someday. And I know again, my uncle lived to 90, but it's still sad. I was telling my one brother, I said it's still sad because we have all those memories, right? My mom used to take us out to the farm for the longest time every Sunday. We'd all load up in the station wagon or the minivan, and we'd go out to the farm. We go out to my grandma's farm that she grew up on, and we go from there. We go down to my uncle Richard's, right? Again, he had his own farm and a little pond, and just as kids, it was so great, and it wasn't that far away. It's like 45 minutes away, but it's middle of nowhere where my mom grew up, Fayetteville, Ohio, right? It's like 1,000 people in the town, middle of nowhere. But as a kid who grew up in the little suburbs, right, you loved it. You loved roaming the farm. You loved fishing in the pond. You loved running around, seeing the animals and the cows and exploring the different barns, walking through the creek, getting dirty, getting muddy, just being a boy. It was, it's just such good memories, such good memories. And the truth is, it is sad. It's sad that he's gone and that the farm my mom grew up on, my cousin lives there now, but had knocked down the house. It was an old house, right? And he lives there now. And it's just, I don't know. I've thought a lot about it. And then it makes me think about my mom and how sad she would have been. And all these things have been flowing through my head the last week of just life and looking at perspective. But my brother said, he asked my uncle's girlfriend, did you ever talk about death? Because again, my uncle wasn't deep. He was just a farmer. He's a farmer his whole life, right? Started as like a young boy, just a farmer. That's all he knows. She said, we didn't. But she said one time they had a discussion about purpose. And he said, the cow has a purpose, right? You raise the cow, you grow the cow, and then the cow's slaughtered. And you have the meat for the cow. That's its purpose. Or the milk, whatever it is, right? The cow is providing a purpose. I guess my Uncle Richard said to her, I don't know what my purpose is. And I was like, wow, that's intense. Right? For a guy, I wouldn't expect that for a guy like that. Like, that's deep. And that hit me when my brother said that to me. I said, I think it's because he doesn't have kids, to be perfectly honest. And again, I'm not saying you have to have kids to have a purpose. But I think my children have given me a purpose. I know they have. I don't think. I know they have. Me having kids has given me a purpose in life. And I think someone like him, who went his whole life without kids, his whole life just kind of being a farmer, born and raised in Brown County, Ohio, in Fayetteville, never leaving there, ever. He says, what's my purpose? Right? So I think that's probably what goes through his head. But I think it's important for all of us to think about that. Like, what's our purpose? What's our meaning? And because I think it's important to have a purpose in life, to have something bigger to strive for, right? His funeral's next week, and we're all going to be pallbearers, my brothers and I, and one of my cousins. It's just crazy again, 90 years old. And again, there's only 3 left, and they're all in their 80s. And it is sad, right, to think 11 kids are all going to be gone in the next few years. And again, I know that's life, but I think it hits even harder because my mom was the youngest. Truthfully, I've talked about it. We almost feel like we got the short end of the stick. My mom got the short end of the stick. And it just makes you question bigger things in life. Like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. You say things like, why did he get to live to be 90 without a family? And my mom had 5 boys, tons of grandchildren, and she only made it to 69. And I think that's a fair question. That's a fair question to ask. And I'll never know the answer. We'll never get the answer. It's beyond us. But it's a fair question to be like, he got 21 more years and he didn't have a family. It's a fair question. And again, I'm not trying to stomp on his grave, so to speak. He just passed. But it's a fair question. Right? When you see people, when they, and not that my mom was so young, but when you see people die younger, the same token, you could say that about people could say, who lose parents way, way before that. Like, I got a lot of good years out of my parents. Anyway, just want to talk about that. My uncle passed, and just thinking a lot about those things this last week. And it's good because it just reaffirms to me, like, yo, dude, you need to have a purpose with your girls. You need to have a purpose in your life. You need to just do things that you're going to enjoy personally, professionally, all that. And on a much lighter note, one thing that I am enjoying is that Wendy's is closing a lot of stores. The Tendy Karma police have gotten you, Wendy's. They've gotten you. And that's what happens, Wendy's, when you put out this. Let's bring this back. Remember when I talked about this, I don't know, a month ago? Went to Wendy's. Got this bad boy. Remember this? Remember this sad attempt at 4 chicken tenders from Wendy's? I talked about this. I posted this on social. And I said, I'm done. Their food is crap. They're overpriced. And their app doesn't have any good deals. So for that reason, I'm out. Haven't had Wendy's since. Even though there's one right by me. Even though I have 2 young kids and stuff like this is convenient. I'm out on Wendy's. Wendy's CEO Ken Cook announced a rebuilding year. I don't know why they're rebuilding. Like, I don't even know what that means. Are you tanking? Are you trying to get a high pick in the draft? Wendy's will close hundreds of restaurants this year. Good. Your brand sucks now. Cool. You have a witty social media. I think your socials are great. Cool. Your product sucks. I don't care how witty or how clever or how creative your social media is. Your product sucks. You're overpriced and your food isn't that good. Bye. My algorithm will feed me this stuff. So I see a lot of interesting stuff. And there was a great read on Wendy's. I'm not going to read the full thing, but it's kind of interesting. Wendy's U.S. same-store sales fell 11.3% in quarter four, while McDonald's U.S. same-store sales rose 6.8%. What have I preached on this show about? What have I preached on this show about? Just McDonald's is so much better as far as, again, you know what you're going to get. It's not the best food, but the quality is consistent. The app is consistent. The delivery is consistent. So that's an 18-point gap between the number 2 and number 1 burger chains. And again, I like what this guy posted. The entire industry is going through a sorting event. Starbucks closed roughly 400 to 500 locations. Jack in the Box is shutting down 200. And Noodles and Company closed 42. Denny's closed 150. And Red Robin closed 70. The common theme is that mid-tier chains couldn't figure out how to either be the cheapest option or a premium experience are getting squeezed out. McDonald's cracked the code. They relaunched extra value meals in September, ran the Grinch meal, which set an all-time highest single-day sales record, and they hit 46 million active loyalty app users and grew their global sales to 140 billion. They're going to open 2,600 more restaurants in 2026. I've said this all along. None of this food is really, at the end of the day, that good. You have to give a price point which is affordable for families. I've said this all along. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. I've said it all along. That's what you got to do. And McDonald's pivoted right back to their value meals, and it works. And they have a great app, and it's easy to use. End of story. Figure it out, Wendy's. It's really not rocket science. It's really not. Now, would I prefer like a good made Wendy's burger over a McDonald's burger? Yeah, in the past. But I think the product is crap now. Truly, I do. And for that reason, I'm out. And maybe respond to me. They still haven't responded to me, for the record. They still haven't responded to any of my posts. They didn't respond to my DMs. So again, you're cool, you're witty, and you can knock down Katy Perry or make jokes that are funny, whatever it is. You're not responding to people. A little goes a long way. Trust me, as somebody in this world, a little goes a long way. All right, now let me rant about Jaden Smith for a second. Let me rant about Jaden Smith before I get out of here. Will Smith's kid. I saw this video, and speaking of out of touch, I don't know. Celebrities make me laugh. Especially a celebrity like this who just, it's like we grew up on different planets, right? Like somebody like a Jaden Smith just cannot relate at all to people like us. So I saw this video. I guess Jaden Smith has what's he got? He created a company, and the premise is good. The I Love You company. It's a Los Angeles-based nonprofit dedicated to serving free vegan meals on wheels and donated clothing to the community of Skid Row. So for those of you who don't know, Skid Row is like the worst street ever. Like the worst street ever in Los Angeles. It's just full of crackheads and drug addicts and heroin addicts and homeless. It's wild. Trash. Like you drive through Skid Row, it's like driving through a different country. I had to walk through it one time at night because I had an event. It was close by. My car was parked somewhere close. I ended up walking through Skid Row. Dude, I was terrified. Surprised I'm still here to talk about it. Anyway, this is a video that Jaden Smith did talking about what he wants, what his goal in life is. Let's watch this.
Honestly, my dream in life is to have a building on Skid Row to where I can give out free meals every single day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I can do things inside of it. I can create jobs and like a good vibe. Like that's my...
Okay, we'll stop it here. So Jaden Smith's goal in life for his I Love You restaurant, his goal in life is to have a building on Skid Row where he's given free meals to the homeless. He's given jobs. And of course, he's creating vibes because that's him. The homeless love vibes. I'll tell you one thing. If there's one thing, Jaden, that homeless people love, it's good vibes. They don't want a house. They don't want clothing. They don't want a place to protect them. They want good vibes. Can't tell you how many times I've walked by a homeless guy and I'm like, dap it up. I'm going to give you some good vibes today. I'm not giving you $10. I'm not giving you a hot meal. I'm giving you good vibes. Because that's what homeless people want. They want good vibes. Okay, continue, Jaden.
Real dream. That's my long-term goal. And I just want you guys to come along this journey with me. And I want the I Love You community to support me while I'm trying to do this. But that's my real goal and dream. We don't have a brick and mortar store right now. We don't have a place that we can be set up at all times, but I want to have that, and I want the community to help us get there in the future, so that's the plan.
You know what would be hilarious if at the end of the video a homeless guy just walked up and just stabbed him. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm saying it'd be pretty funny if Jaden, who's filming this video, I don't know if he's on Skid Row. I don't see heroin needles. Normally that's a telltale sign you're on Skid Row. But wouldn't it be funny? I'm not advocating it, but wouldn't it be funny if a homeless guy came up and shanked him in his $1,000 clothes? Who knows what that costs? The son of a global movie and music star. It'd be pretty funny. Now let's get to what he's doing here. His lifelong goal is to own a brick and mortar store, a building on Skid Row, to where he can achieve all these things that he wants to do for the homeless people, for these disenfranchised people, for these people who really need help in life. Well, I got news for you, Jaden. You can do this. You're Jaden Smith. Your dad is Will Smith. Will Smith. It's kind of a big deal. Let's put in Will Smith net worth. And this is just what Google is saying. Will Smith has an estimated net worth of $350 to $375 million. So, Jaden, here's my advice. You pull up your iPhone. I'm sure you have the latest because you're Will Smith's kid. You go into the contacts section. You hit Dad, and you call him, and you say, Dad, I would like a building on Skid Row to help homeless people. There, I just solved your lifelong goal, dude. I just solved it. Now, it's funny. Under the post I saw where I saw this video on Twitter, a lot of people were like, but zoning is difficult. And I'm sure it is. And I'm sure you got to go through a lot of loopholes and a lot of bullshit because it's Los Angeles and it's California. Trust me, I have to do that here in Cincinnati. Deck update, by the way, nothing. Haven't done shit. Anyway, I'm sure there are a lot of rigmarole to go through. But you're Will Smith's kid. You're just like, hey, my dad's going to show up. Like Will Smith shows up, they make it happen. I do just love, it's like, yeah, this is my lifelong goal. I'm wearing these. Let's go to the website. Again, the I Love You Company is a Los Angeles-based nonprofit dedicated to serving free vegan meals, of course, on wheels, and donated clothing to the community of Skid Row, California. Every activation, we serve up to 500 hot meals and bottles of just water and an assortment of donated clothes. These items are supported by our corporate partnerships and most engaged community members. Why vegan meals, it says. Our founder, Jaden Smith, believes everyone deserves access to the healthiest food options, no matter their financial situation. So the menu was created with our world-class chef and co-founder, Tabitha Leeper, to bring that vision to life. I do also love the thought of homeless people eating vegan meals. It's funny. I'm sorry, it's funny. A guy who's been strung out on heroin for the last 2 weeks, the thought of him eating this gourmet vegan meal makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh. Like he wakes up from this trance, this drug-induced trance that he's been in, and he's like, hey, man, I don't want none of that McDonald's. I want some of that quinoa. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going through this. This is kind of fun. What else do they say on the website? Our big vision is to create the I Love You headquarters where we can serve 3 meals a day every day in Skid Row, California, and eventually have them all over the country and the world. I Love You is a global community of people like you who care about homeless and food insecurity. Look, I'm just going to say it. Given light of the news with Epstein, given light of the news of all this global stuff, given light of the news of just like people ripping off companies, does this sound like it's going to go bad? Yes. Yes, it does. Sorry, Jaden. Like, is this a cover for something? I don't know. Very easily could be. Very easily could be a cover for, I don't know, underage sex trafficking? I don't know. Like a shell corporation that's stealing money? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could be. This is like a perfect front. Have you thought about going to Minnesota? I heard they actually not even just Minnesota, anywhere. He can stay there. Great way to just steal money from people. I'm sure. I don't that's what I'm saying, to go back to the beginning of the show. It's like, guys, I'm like so down. Like I don't trust any. I literally don't trust any of these places now. Even if it comes from a good spot. And even if this kid has a good heart on him. Now, look, I don't know. Because he can't relate to anything. I mean, no offense to the kid. Like, you can't. I don't expect him to. He grew up Will Smith's kid. I don't expect him to relate to me, kid who grew up in the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't expect him to. Right? I don't expect him to get it. The same way when I worked for Lance Bass, NSYNC became a thing when he was 16, 17 years old. Lance had a different life than me. A different life. Sure, is he down to earth? He is. He's a great dude. Love the guy. But I don't expect him to relate to certain things because he became a celebrity at such a young age, right? And you achieve that, and then you have that kind of for the rest of your life. So I don't expect Jaden Smith to understand. Now, do I laugh? Yeah, I laugh. I do laugh. Talking about his lifelong, dude. Your dad's Will Smith. Your dad's Will Smith, and if he doesn't want to get you the money, somebody will. Call Leon Black. Call Leon Black, the guy. I just talked about him a bunch. Call him. He's got money. Epstein's dead, allegedly. Call him. He's got money. Actually, don't, because then he's going to, again, he will set up the underage sex trafficking ring. How can you not laugh, though? Vegan food? How can you not laugh? By the way, I agree. I think people should get access to healthy food. But truthfully, I'd be like, fuck you. I want healthy. I don't want vegan food. I don't want a big old steak, bro. I've been living on the streets of Los Angeles my whole life. Give me a big old juicy burger. Give me a juicy junior bacon cheeseburger with some fries. Give me some of them street tacos a few streets away. me some of those delicious Mexican street tacos. Some of them steak ones. You're rolling over here with this vegan food. Oh, Jaden. I forgot about him, to be honest. I wonder what goes through these people's minds. Did he wake up one day and was like, yo, how about this, man? Let's go feed the homeless on Skid Row. I've seen them. Like, not firsthand, but like, driving through here, my armored truck with my security team and my $150,000 car. Like, I've seen them. I think they need food, bro. Let's start a company. I don't know how to do this, though. If only I had access to money to get an actual brick and mortar building. How are we going to do this? Andy Ruther Show does have a hotline. Let's pull that bad boy up. 859-935-0078. Give a shout if you want. Or my DMs are always open. The Andy Ruther Show DMs are always open at Andy Ruther. It's that simple on social media. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.